Retirement comes with a lot of decisions. When are you going to retire? What are you going to do? Where are you going to live? How much can you spend? And some of these decisions you can change. You can always move. You could go back to work part-time. However, there are 3 decisions that you can't change. Done, final, irreversible. In today's video, we're going to talk about the 3 irreversible decisions and how making a wrong lifetime decision could potentially lead to impacts on your lifestyle, your income, or you could potentially see your retirement savings wiped away. We're also going to talk about factors to consider when making these decisions. Hey, I'm glad to have you on our channel. I'm Scott Sierens. I run a retirement planning and investment management firm where we help families and individuals, people just like you, understand when they can retire, how much they can spend in retirement, how to minimize the taxes that they pay to the IRS in retirement so they can maximize their retirement story. If those are areas you need help in, go to lifemoneyshow.com, click on the Work With Us tab. Some of the toughest decisions are the ones that we can't change because nerves kick in, fear kicks in of what if we were to make the wrong decision? So let's talk about those irreversible decisions and the factors you should consider up front to help make that right decision as you move on in your life. So the first irreversible decision is Social Security. At some point in time, your company paycheck is no longer going to come in, at which time you're going to lean on your retirement savings and lean on Social Security. According to SSA.gov, Social Security on average makes up 40% of people's pre-retirement income. 40% of your pre-retirement income. Social Security is a pretty big deal. Now, you can take it as early as age 62, but that's going to be a reduced amount. You can take it as late as age 70. That's an increased amount from your full retirement age. Or you can take it at any month between 62 and 70. And between those two, there's 96 months. That's 96 different decisions to potentially make when it comes to Social Security. I'm certain that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable because if you make the wrong decision, you could potentially be reducing your future lifestyle. You could potentially be putting your surviving spouse in a really tough position because you can't change that decision once you've made it. You make the right decision and you can potentially improve your overall income by hundreds or thousands of dollars. So what are some of the factors you should consider before making that irreversible decision about Social Security? Well, one is, what do you think about longevity for yourself and for your family? Take into consideration cost of living adjustments. Take into consideration survivor benefits. Remember, if one person passes away, you only keep one of the 2 Social Securities and you keep the higher of the 2. And then last, you need to factor in what you have in your retirement savings. Do you want to get the most out of your Social Security benefits? If so, this free guide could potentially help you optimize your benefit by hundreds or thousands of dollars. Again, lifemoneyshow.com/Social Security. All right, before we get into irreversible decision number 2, as it might only apply to some people, make sure you stick around to irreversible decision number 3, as it can be a very costly decision in retirement. But irreversible decision number 2 is your pension election. A pension is a guaranteed form of income from your company. Now, there's a lot of decisions to go through or a lot of thoughts to go through when making this decision. Like, when do you start the pension? Because once you start it, that's it. That's the amount that you're going to get for life. What about survivor benefits? If one spouse were to pass away, will this survivor get the same amount of income? Will they get 50% of the income, or are they not going to get any income at all? Share a quick story with you. A couple that I met that came in to talk about their retirement plan. When we were going through their overall situation, we went through and we're taking a look at their pension. I said, are there any survivor benefits? They said, no, they had just taken the highest amount on the statement because the income looked really good. And as we went through their situation, this income was making up 50% of their retirement income. So if that person were to pass away, it left the spouse with nothing on the pension and a 50% cut to their income. As you can see, that made the spouse really nervous. And then we had to go through additional planning things to make sure that they felt more comfortable with the retirement plan because of this irreversible decision that they had already made. The last thing to consider is lump sum versus monthly payouts. So that's something else that you have to go through in your thought process. So when it comes to pension, making that wrong irreversible decision or a bad irreversible decision could potentially put your spouse in a really tough position if you were to pass away. It could potentially make a really big impact on your future lifetime income. A lot of times pensions sit flat, meaning there's no cost of living adjustment. And so inflation's going up, but your pension's staying here. So that's something that making that wrong decision can have a huge impact on as well. So what are some of the different factors that you should consider before making that pension election? Well, one factor to consider, just like Social Security, is longevity. Another factor to consider is there lump sum availability? And go test that lump sum availability outside of your pension. What if you were to put that money into the market? What if you were to take that money and use instruments outside of your company pension to recreate a lifetime guaranteed withdrawal? There are instruments and tools out there that you can do that utilize that. A few other things to consider: inflation, survivor benefits, and then also you want to consider how much you have in your retirement savings, because that could impact then when you need to take and start your pension and how much you need coming in each and every month. Another factor to consider is legacy, meaning if your pension stays with the company, let's just say you have lump sum availability, pension stays with the company, you pass away, spouse passes away, guess what? That pension now just disappears. Instead, you take a lump sum, you pass away, your spouse passes away. Well, depending on what type of account you put it in, most likely you're able to name beneficiaries, and now that money goes to your beneficiaries. So a factor to consider, is legacy important too? Hopefully these factors help you as you go into that irreversible decision of when to start your pension. The third irreversible decision is whether or not to get long-term care protection. According to seniorliving.org, the national average cost for a nursing home is $9,000 a month. That's $108,000 a year. If you're to be in the nursing home for 3 years, that's $324,000. So you can see how quickly, if you're need to go into a nursing home, how quickly your retirement savings could deplete at $108,000 a year, another $108,000, another $108,000. So what's the decision to make? Well, the decision to make is, do you decide to self-insure, meaning use your retirement savings, or you decide to transfer the risk to an insurance company? Now, some factors that you might want to consider as you go through this decision is 1, longevity, 2, family health history, and then 3, how health technology is improving, meaning the ability of hospitals, of doctors to be able to keep us alive longer, potentially in those situations where we might need an assisted living facility or a nursing home. And you might be thinking, well, I'll just get it when I need it. Nope, that might not be able to happen, because you see, you may no longer qualify for long-term care protection because of health, meaning what's ailing you, or because of age. They all have an application process that you need to go through where they're going to check on those different things, and then they determine whether or not you'll be able to qualify for long-term care protection. So this is an area where you want to sit down, come to a decision. If you decide that you don't want it, at least maybe sit down, and then also in that decision, come to another review point. Hey, we're 55. We don't want to look at it today. Great. We're going to look at it again when we're 60. So when it comes to the decisions about your Social Security, about your pension, about long-term care protection, there's no need to rush into these decisions, because these are lifetime decisions. So take your time, consider all of the factors that we've talked about today to help you make the right decisions, because once you make those decisions, they are irreversible. I hope that you found this video to be of value and benefit. And if so, you'd like to see other videos in regards to retirement topics such as Social Security, reducing your long-term taxes, well, subscribe to our YouTube channel as we're coming out with new videos each week on topics just like those.